This unbelievable video shows the three survivors running for their lives after narrowly escaping the plane. Now, this exclusive video is a very scary sight, but a sigh of relief from everyone involved. And this morning we have team coverage. Wink News anchor Rachel Cox-Rosen is at the site of the crash, tracking all of the new developments in the investigation. And Wink News reporter Camila Pereira is talking to neighbors. They are telling her about the horror that they experienced when this plane crashed. And we begin with Rachel. And Rachel, do we know when the NTSB is going to arrive?
The National Transportation Safety Board, Claire, might be here now. I was told by the Collier County Sheriff's Office, a deputy out there on the scene, that they would start investigating once the sun came up. Sun is now up, should be able to see that plane. I want to zoom in on that crash site as best we can. We're on Golden Gate Parkway in the southbound lane exits, which are, of course, closed right now. And taking a look at what we can see, just a lot of emergency vehicles out there, fire truck. There were a lot of Collier County Sheriff's deputies out on scene. I was out at the crash site earlier. That burnt out plane was still out there. I want to also take a look from above from one of our FDOT cameras that you can see the scene out there. So NTSB again might be on scene investigating. They're going to be documenting the scene, bringing what's left of that burnt out jet to a secure facility. What we know right now, the pilot called to say his engines failed. He was already very low. He only had seconds to make a decision. The pilot said they would not be able to make it to the Naples airport, and that's when he made that decision to crash, or excuse me, to try and land. It ended up crashing out on I-75 here. So the big question this morning, why did both of those engines fail? Well, a lot of experts have thrown out ideas like maintenance problems, possibly a bird strike, which is very unlikely that that could have happened. Would have had to be a big flock of birds there. Fuel contamination, another one that's been brought up, or running out of fuel. Well, that also is called fuel exhaustion. But we talked to an expert, someone who flies small planes for a living. Let's listen in on what he has to say.
X-ray 574, runway 23, turn right heading 270, clear for takeoff, traffic 3 mile final, challenging.
Federal regulations require all captains to be Part 135, which is most likely what this plane was flying under, Part 135. Every 6 months, the captain needs to go in for training, and the co-pilot would be every 12 months. And what you do in training is specifically train for the emergencies, for the engine fires, for the pressurization failures, for forced landings. Now, for a double engine failure, that's like the last thing you train for, because that's one of the most situations that you hardly ever see, ever.
Yeah. And NTSB investigators are going to be looking hard into what happened, looking at a lot of data, flight track data, recordings of any of those air traffic control communications, like what you just heard before you came to me live here, aircraft maintenance records, weather forecasts, pilot's license, and a lot of information to try and figure out what exactly happened here. Of course, the good news, what we do know, 3 people survived this crash. 2, unfortunately, did not survive. We at this point don't know the identities of any of them.